In our beautiful Maharashtra, there exists a place where tigers don't hide from you. They walk towards you. Welcome to Tadoba Andhari Tiger Reserve, Maharashtra's oldest and largest national park and the tiger capital of India. It's home to one of the highest densities of Bengal tigers in the world. For years, we chased tigers across India's greatest forests and came back empty every single time. Then we came to Tadoba, and in 4 safaris, this jungle gave us more than what we could have hoped for. This is the one tiger reserve in India that actually lives up to everything you have heard about it. Here, the tigers are not shy, but fearless, bold, and gorgeous. Our journey to Tadoba began in Nagpur, the Orange City and proudly called the tiger capital of the world. This title is well earned because Nagpur sits within the striking distance of three of India's most celebrated tiger reserves: Tadoba Andhari, Pench, and Kanha. If you are planning a Central India wildlife circuit, this is your base. From Nagpur, the drive to the buffer zones took us just over 3 hours, and it was smooth driving as most of the route runs on a well maintained 4-lane highway. Tadoba has total 22 gates open for tourists, out of which 6 are core zones: Moharli, Kutwanda, Navegaon, Kolara, Pangadi, and Zari. In this trip, we covered 4 buffer zones: Devada and Adegaon in Moharli zone, and Mamla and Lohara in Zari zone. Except for the other 3, Lohara is a newly opened buffer gate near Mamla. And since each zone has its own distinct landscape, its own resident tigers, and its own story, we have documented each one as a separate chapter. This is the story told in 4 parts. We booked Mamla just 2 months before our trip, not the most ideal timeline, since the best zones fill up fast. But what we found online after booking gave us a ray of hope. Mamla records tiger sightings almost every single day. As of April 2026, in Mamla there are 5 tigers, and the most famous is Tigress Gauri and her 2 subadult cubs. Till last year, she used to give good sightings with her cubs through most of the year. But since her partner went missing, she has become more cautious and protective of her subadult cubs. Also in this territory is Vaimak, a male tiger who is asserting his presence in the zone and poses a threat to Gauri's cubs. Within first few minutes, the forest greeted us with the wild boar and sambar deer grazing in the distance. While sambar deer is tiger's most valued meal, wild boar is the one which is one of tiger's most challenging prey. A fully grown boar can seriously injure even the most experienced tiger. बहुत ही सुंदर है ये जबरदस्त वाह A fully grown Indian gaur can weigh up to 1500 kilos and is built like a fortress of muscle. A tiger hunting a gaur is considered one of the most dangerous and extraordinary acts in the forest, requiring massive strength and courage. So, when it does happen, it is almost always the work of most experienced and powerful tigers of the jungle. On the way, we kept checking the water bodies and the areas where tigers can be spotted.
मछली टाइप नहीं का मछली टाइप ऐसा नहीं का टाइप नहीं
One such area we were checking out when we saw this cute little mongoose, looking straight at us as if posing for us. In jungle, they say spotting mongoose is considered a good omen for tiger sightings. We laughed it off then. but by the end of this trip, we were firm believers of that. On the way, we reached a forest guard checkpoint, and there two guards confirmed just now Gauri's cub crossed the track and went deep into the jungle. Now, our guide had a clear understanding of the direction where the tiger would have moved. On the way, we quickly reached this lake and waited there for alarm calls. While waiting, we saw two freshwater mugger crocodiles bask silently in the shallows. We waited, listening for the alarm calls, and then our guide heard it. We picked a spot, parked at a clearing, and waited. Where we waited, the beautiful Indian rollers flitted above us. These jewel bluebirds are the state bird of Karnataka. It was already 2 hours now, and we had 2 more hours left with us. 40 minutes passed, and the time was running out. And then a call came from a fellow guide. Why Mark had been spotted. And the race was on. When we got the call, Mark was sitting, but by the time we reached closer, he was moving. A moving tiger disappears into the forest in seconds. My heart sank, but our guide kept saying, "We will see a tiger today." I did not believe him then. And then we reached the spot, and there he was. Our dry spell was finally broken, and how? Standing at the edge of the tree line, unhurried, unbothered, we finally saw this magnificent, extremely handsome creature. Weimark is one of the only two surviving cubs of Maya, the legendary queen of Tadoba, who once ruled this entire reserve. We had enough time to watch him, photograph him, and breathe him in. For two people who had done safaris after safaris across India, searching for this moment, this feeling was something close to surreal. When Weimark melted back into the forest, we returned to track the sub-adult we were waiting for earlier. The sun was setting, but the guide and the driver were absolutely certain that the tiger was still inside the tree line. But the forest had decided we have had our share for the day. One tiger after 11 safaris, that was more than enough for us. On the way back to gate, our front jeep spotted a sloth bear, one of the most elusive animals in the Indian forests, but visibility was too low to see it clearly. चला गया क्या? We were not supposed to be here. We didn't get any tickets online for 12th morning, but yesterday at Mamla Gate, I talked to a staff at ticket counter and he helped us arrange a safari jeep for Lohara zone. We also paid the advance to the guy. Lohara is Tadoba's newest buffer zone gate, opened just 2 months before our visit, located a few kilometers from the Mamla Gate. We did not have any expectations from this zone, but we were happy thinking what is better than being in the jungle. A word of caution here, the last minute arrangement came with a hiccup. Without network connectivity at our homestay, we could not call the guy to remind him about the booking next morning. And by morning, the plan had shifted from our personal jeep to a shared jeep with three other tourists. It felt like we had been played a little, but we shrugged it off and hopped in. Who knew this arrangement would turn out to be one of our life's best wildlife experiences? Lohara is still finding its feet. The guides and the drivers are new to this zone. Our guide, a young woman, did her best, pointing out the flora and fauna of this drier section of the forest with genuine enthusiasm.
कि अपना साइज बताता
ये वाला
नहीं इसमें वो वाले
अच्छा अच्छा
जो मेरा डालेगा
For the first 2 hours, the forest felt quiet, with little wildlife activity and no alarm calls.
जंगल फॉरेस्ट कॉलिंग है ये हॅलो का तर ते एक सिंग तर गडूनच होती त्याची पण आमच्या गाडीच्या आवाजामुळे तर धावाला गेला दुसरी सिंग त्याची गडून एवढं छान एरिया आहे सर खूपच छान मस्त छान असं ना नाला तिथून झरणा
We were simply enjoying the forest when all of a sudden we saw a peacock perched on a treetop. We immediately asked the driver to stop the jeep to take some pictures. We were taking our pictures and then suddenly we saw her, a tigress walking in the bushes. We were still processing the moment when my husband suddenly said she would cross the track. She was being extremely careful, looked at us from behind the bushes first, calmly making her choice. She then slowly moved towards the road. Unhurried, when she stepped to the edge of the road, she paused again and looked directly at us. Nobody moved, nobody spoke. She held our gaze for what felt like minutes and then cautiously looked at both sides of the road and finally crossed it, entirely on her own terms. There were no jeeps in sight, just us, the forest, and her. This was so far the most beautiful tiger sighting of our lives. We did not expect it. This place where we had no expectations of any wildlife sightings, we had our best tiger sighting. Tadoba is really something and it has already given us so much more than what we could have ever hoped for. After this beautiful moment, our guide immediately informed other jeeps of her direction, but unfortunately, none of them could spot her. A note for future visitors. As of April 2026, there are now reports of a male tiger having entered the Lohara zone from the neighboring Agarzari buffer, meaning there may soon be a resident pair. Lohara is young, but it's growing. We hope the management continues to develop this zone and seriously consider restricting private vehicle entries. Unregulated access can disturb tiger movement and compromise the safety of both animals and the visitors. Well, do not sleep on Lohara. If your stars are aligned, it will give you something extraordinary. And for us, it was one of a kind experience. Two safaris, two tigers, both in buffer zones. One of them barely existed on the map 2 months ago. We did not dare to hope for more. We were full, grateful, and almost disbelieving of our own luck. But Tadoba wasn't done with us yet.